What's up, nerds? In this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through designing the best 3D printed bolts you could possibly make using Onshape. I'll show you how to nail
buttery smooth threads
and pro level detailing and even optimize strength with the right print orientation. Alright, hopping straight into Onshape. First thing we're going to do is we're going to think about our bolt's diameter, and that's going to be minus the threads. So we're going to go with about 10 millimeters, and if you want to change your units, go down right under my logo in the bottom right corner to that measuring tape to do it there. Alright, so we're going to dimension this circle to 10 millimeters. Alright, then you're going to click OK, and the next thing we need to know is the pitch of our bolts, and that's going to be the distance between our threads. Alright, the reason we're going to need to know this is because when we extrude our thing, we're going to need to extrude it 2 times our pitch extra, because that way when we sweep it, it's going to do something weird and we're going to cut off a pitch length on each end. So I'm going to add 5 because my pitch is 2.5 millimeters. Alright, so to add our threads, we're going to use the helix feature and we're going to change it to pitch, and then we're going to do a 2.5 millimeter pitch. Alright, the next thing we need to do is find where our helix feature intersects the plane perpendicularly. So this is going into this plane. So we're going to select that plane, and I believe that's the front plane. And then we're going to sketch on that plane. And then this is where we're going to draw our thread profile. So to do that, we're going to grab our line tool. And we're going to draw 3 random lines in a triangle, and then we're going to constrain these lines. So we're going to get the vertical constraint, hit one side of it, and then we're going to grab the equal constraint and box all these lines together, and then it's going to look like this. Alright, so now we're going to grab our midpoint tool and select our vertical line, and then select the point where your helix intersects your plane. And then we're going to dimension that vertical line to be a little bit smaller than our pitch. So our pitch was 2.5 millimeters. We're going to make it 2.25 millimeters to account for our printer's error. And then we're also going to draw a little line down here and cut off the tip of our thread just to account for a little bit more error. And then we'll say that's 0.25 millimeters from the tip. Alright, now that looks good. I'll hit OK. Alright, so now we want to select our profile, and we're going to hit sweep, and then we're going to hit sweep path, and we're going to select our helical curve. Alright, and that's going to sweep it across, and now you see why we're going to cut a pitch length off each end. So to do that, we're going to sketch on that plane. We're going to draw 2 boxes like so, and I'm going to show you my favorite tool. It's called project geometry. It's going to project geometry of the face you select onto the plane that you are sketching on, and it's going to draw these 2 lines, and that way you can dimension easily from this profile, and you're going to do your pitch length on both of them. Alright, so now we're going to select both of those profiles, and we're going to extrude, remove, we're going to hit symmetric, and then you can pretty much do whatever covers the diameter of your bolt. Alright, to get rid of this annoying little curve, we're going to go down here and we're just going to hit the eyeball to hide this curve, so that way it's not annoying us when we keep designing. Alright, so now we got our threads on there and it's at the right length now. So now what we want to do is make the head of our bolt. So we're going to sketch on one side of our bolt, and we're going to select our circumscribed polygon tool, and we're going to make this a 6-sided polygon, a hexagon, and we're going to dimension our inner circle to be 20 millimeters. And then we're going to constrain one side to a plane just to get it straight. Alright, so now we're going to extrude to the size that we want our head to be. and I'm gonna make it about 6. You can also use this arrow to drag to kind of see where you want it to visualize. So I'm gonna go with 6 millimeters, and then this is good enough to print, and it'll probably work, but we're gonna go an extra step further, and we're gonna taper the threads so you can start threading easier. And to do that, you're just gonna draw a triangle. Imagine it cutting the edges of the threads. You also are gonna need to draw a center line in this sketch to revolve around. So you're going to grab your revolve tool, select your profile, select your center line, and then you're going to make sure you hit remove so you don't add an extra little cap onto it. And then we're going to chamfer the sides of the head so that it looks a little bit prettier. And we're going to do 0.75 millimeters for that. And then select all the faces. Hit OK. Alright, so now let's put some lettering on this. I'm going to try and put my logo, or at least a version of it. So we're going to sketch on this plane. We're going to go to our text tool and draw a box roughly in the area where we want it. Type in what you want, keep it short and sweet. I like using this font the best. I find it's the easiest to 3D print with. So we're going to hit OK. And then we're going to do a coincident constraint with the middle line and the middle plane so that our text always stays in the center. And we're going to dimension it. You can play around with the numbers to get it where you want it. And then I'm also going to do a little design, and I'll show you how to mirror. You can go use the mirror tool if you want to, and then highlight the things you want to mirror, and then select the plane you want to mirror across. Just an extra feature to learn. And then so we're going to take our little design and we're going to extrude it and remove it, and we're going to do, you could do 0.4 to 0.6 millimeters. That's going to be 2 to 3 layer heights when you print. And there you have it. There's your finished bolt. That's the end of the video. You're going to print it and then it's going to work flawlessly. Alright, so never mind. It's going to break easily because it's printed like an idiot. So to fix that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the top and the bottom with some rectangles that we're going to extrude and remove. Now, these rectangles only need to be really big enough to the point where they can be 3D printed on their side. So we're just going to symmetrically extrude both of these and remove them. If you made it this far in the video, the secret word is up on the screen. If the first one that comments it, you'll win a $40 Bambu Labs gift card. Alright, so now that we've got that removed, we're going to chamfer those two little spots, and you have to make sure you just get the edges when you chamfer it, or else you're going to get a bunch of errors. So you're going to click every edge, hit OK, and now I'm just going to go back to a previous sketch and edit it so I can put in a slot for a flathead screwdriver. Alright guys, and that is our finished bolt design. Alright, then you can go ahead and print that and just kind of see how it's looking. You can test out the strength of it. It's going to be much harder to break than the vertically printed bolt that we made earlier. Try give it to your dad. See if he can break it. I bet he can't, even at 10% infill. Of course, unless your dad is Brock Lesnar. But we got to make the nut now so you can actually use this thing. So to do that, we're going to sketch on the top plane. We're going to grab our circumscribed polygon tool, and then we're going to dimension that inner circle to be 20 millimeters, same as our bolt head dimensions. And if you remember, our bolt head was 6 millimeters tall, but for the nut, since it's going to be a threaded surface on the inside, we have to add 2 times our pitch again to cut off the errors when we sweep it. So this is going to be 11 if we want it to be 6, since our pitch is 2.5 millimeters. All right, so then our through hole is going to be 0.8 millimeters bigger than what our bolt diameter was. That way to account for 0.4 millimeters of tolerance on each side. Then we're going to add our helical pattern, make our pitch match. Alright, so now we need to find where our helical pattern intersects our plane again. And then we're going to select that plane, and we're going to go over to this cube in the corner and hit the bottom feature, which is a section view. So that way we can sketch on this plane without being obstructed by our geometry. Alright, so now we're sketching on this. You're going to draw your triangle again, vertical constrain one side, equal constrain all of them, and then for this dimension we're going to do just slightly lower than our pitch length, but bigger than what we did for our actual thread. So this is the inverse threads, like was going to be cut out of the nut. So we're going to make this 2.45, and then we're going to sweep that along our helical path. And make sure you remove that, hit OK. Alright, so now we have to sketch on a plane and use our rectangular tool to chop off the top and bottom at a pitch length. And that's going to be our 2.5 millimeter. Hit OK. Remove those. Make sure you remove it symmetrically. And then you can get rid of that squiggle again. And now you just got to chamfer the sides at 0.75 millimeters or whatever you desire. And then you're good to print. So you're going to export all those. You're going to load them up in your slicer, and you're going to get to printing, and then you can test out how strong these are really yourself. So now you know how to make these really nice bolts. They're going to be super strong and easy to use. If you learn anything in this video, please comment or give me ideas for future videos. All right, that's going to be it. Thank you for watching. Bye.